Okay, for number two, it says solve for x on the, given that x is a real number. And looking at it, just looking at it, I know x has to be greater than or equal to 0, looking at that. What I want to do now is go to the whiteboard, see if I can figure this out. This looks like a tough one. Let's go to the whiteboard. I'll write the equation down. And it's the fourth root of x cubed plus 2 times a root of x minus x equals 0. Well, I think the first thing I do is write as fractional exponents because I don't like those radical notation. So it's going to be 3/4. This will be 2x. I'm going to write in terms of quarters, by the way. It's a half, but that would be 2/4. And then minus, this is x to the first power, which same thing as 4/4. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to factor it. And if I factor out something, I'd probably factor out x, I'm going to say 3/4. Let me see if that's what I want to do. Yeah, 3/4. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot. 3/4. What would you get over here? 1 plus 2 x. You know, I don't want to do 3/4. I get negative powers then. So let me erase this over here. I don't want to do that. Rethink. I'm going to factor out 2/4. Let's do that. So we're going to factor out a 2/4 now. X to the 2/4. By the way, I know that's a half, but that's incidental at this point. So you get x to the 1/4. That's not so bad. And then you're going to get plus 2. Then you get minus x to the 2/4. And this is equal to 0. All right, let me keep going. I'm going to rearrange this a little bit, a little disturbing the order that's in. So I'm going to say minus x to the 2/4, which is just 1/2. And then you're going to get, x. I'm going to still use the 2/4, by the way. Minus x to the 1/4. This is sort of looking quadratic to me now. And then minus 2 equals 0. And the reason I say it looks quadratic, I'm going to write it down so it does look quadratic. I'm going to write this down as x to the 1/4 squared minus x to the 1/4 minus 2 equals 0. And if you want, you can say u equals x to the 1/4, if you want to. It might make it easier to factor, I don't know. So let's put this down, x to the 1/4, 1/2 I mean. And I'm going to look at this thing as if it's a quadratic that I could factor. So x to the 1/4, x to the 1/4. And then I got a 2, so it's going to be 2 and 1. This is going to work. When I say work with integers. And then I'm looking at this over here, and what would I say? It looks like minus 2 plus 1. All right? So I got a bunch of possibilities at this point, and I want to write them down for you. I'm going to say the factors, and I got 3 factors now. I'll point them out to you. The 3 factors that I have, this is one of the factors, and that could be 0. This factor could be 0, and that factor could be 0. Let's take a look at one at a time, by the way. So the first thing I want to look at is this minus x to the 1/2 is equal to 0. The next one I want to look at is x to the 1/4 plus 1 could be equal to 0. And the next one I'm looking at, x to the 1/4 minus 2 equals 0. There's 3 things I'm looking at. The first guy looks pretty trivial to me. X would be equal to 0. All right. The next guy over here, this would be complex. So I'm not going to look at that because I said it was a real number. This one I'm going to look at, this would be x to the 1/4 is equal to 2. And then I'd raise both sides to the 4th. What do you get? X equals 2 to the 4th power. X equals, well, 2 to the 4th, 2 times 2 is 4, 8, 16. So you get 2 answers, and the 2 answers are as follows, 0 and 16. All right, I kind of recommend you go back and check it in the original equation, but that's something you might say in a competitive exam that you wouldn't want to bother dealing with because you want to move on to another question. But you go back to the original. This is the original, by the way, and you could check those 2 answers. 0 is certainly very easy to check. And you could check the other ones too. Let me go through that with you. So 0 is easy to check. 16 might be more difficult. Let's write this down. The fourth root of 16 cubed plus 2 times the root of 16 minus 16 is equal to 0. Let's see if that's true. The fourth root of 16 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. The square root of 16 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. And 8 plus 8 minus 16 is 0, and that certainly does work out. So these are our two solutions over here. Thank you.